Cryptics and Queens, welcome to my channel. My name is Natoshi. In today's episode, I have a special guest that is talking about the 16-year-old cycle and also the law of rhythm when it comes to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And I am so fascinated about this guy and all of the information that he has been giving me, and I'm going to share this together with you. But let us go in a little bit quickly on Ethereum and see what's happening now before you see what he is actually talking about. So please, guys, make sure to stay because this is wonderful. I'm looking at the monthly chart at this time because we do have a new month. It's just 5 days in August at this time. So as always, we take the fib from the last lower high and we're connecting it with the lower low. We almost came back up and retested 22,226. That is the 50% Fibonacci level. Now we can overall see how the market is going in a sideways market. We did break above this level at 1,750. We do see the market start to give us some bearish momentum at this time, but we also have to have in mind that this is how the market is actually moving. So another thing that we're going to do just to connect the dots is that we have another Fibonacci level down at 1,640, which has been tested one time, but we also have the 61.8% around 1,540. Now this is on the monthly chart. Remember that these are the target is pretty far away, and just because we see a lot of momentum to the downside, remember that the market doesn't have to reverse, it just have to retest certain levels. So we can all see on the lower time frames that we are going in a sideways market. We failed to break above 1,955, and at this time we just add another fib because we have one low connected with the high, and we are testing 1,830 now. So if the market does have just retest these levels around 1,780 for the next momentum up, that can definitely happen. But we also have to have in mind that we are going in a sideways market. We have been touching the 50% already, but sometimes what the market is doing is that it's testing the same levels 2 times. So if we would see that Ethereum does continue to break down, we just might see some pushes up, because remember, we are going in a sideways market, so the market just might push back up a little bit more. But the overall, I would strongly believe that if we're breaking 1,780, we're looking at the higher time frames Fibonacci at 1,650 and also 1,530. Now, of course, we're going to see these things happening on the lower time frames before it's actually happening. But as long as we understand that this is the long-term target, we would understand if we see the market have more bearish momentum, that this is actually happening. Let us just go to the 4-hourly chart. And I know that we're not supposed to cut any candles, but we did have this level as a fake out. So we do have a trend line that can definitely be another retest that we have around 1,880. So in the sideways market, we can come back up, test one of the highs before we see the next momentum down. But the reason why I strongly believe that we will have some more bearish momentum is because we did retest almost the 50%. You saw how we did test a previous high around 1,940. And by just looking at the charts, you see how the market did fail to break above the previous high. So we just might have another pullback down to the downside. And just have this in mind, guys. The market goes up, the market goes down. The long-term target, I definitely see the market to continue to higher targets. But what we're looking at right now, with the market looking like this, I would strongly say that I am more bearish on Ethereum now than I am bullish. And before we are listening to my wonderful guest that's going to give us so much information about cryptocurrencies and what to think about when it comes to cycles, then if you are looking for a great platform to trade the market on, do the same thing as me. I am trading my currencies at this time on Bitflex. We have a great collaboration right now, which means that if you are depositing $100 to trade on your account through the link that I have in the description down below my video, then you will be able to have this amazing giveaway that we have for you, which is a Apple Watch Series 8. Now, when you're depositing these $100, then you will be able to have this Apple Watch Series 8 for yourself, and you have until the 4th of September to do this. So make sure to use the link, and I want to see which one of you will be the one that's going to have this giveaway watch. If you've never used Bitflex before, then I would recommend you to look at the tutorial that I have for it. You have it also pinned in the corner right here, and this is just where I break down on how you're using the charts, on how you're using this platform so you don't do anything wrong. Now, I'm super excited to share this video together with you with my wonderful guest. Let's go. I have a wonderful guest with me today. I have JEROEN, also the blockchain today on YouTube. Super welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, Natalie. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you come into the crypto space? How long have you been doing it? And just introduce you to my community.
Okay, great. Well, I'm actually in crypto since 2016. I was already looking at the Bitcoin charts very early on, but I haven't really made any heavy investments. That happened when I was living in Indonesia in 2020. I suddenly, oh no, that was not 2020, basically. That was the 2017 bull market. Suddenly, everyone around me starts talking about these coins, and I was already like interested in Bitcoin, so that spiked my interest like even more. And then I just went full-time into crypto. I just like start reading every single day, start reading the Bitcoin standard, start watching YouTube channels. And then in 2019, beginning 2020, I started my own YouTube channel, The Blockchain Today. And since then, yeah, we are already like for 3 years posting daily content and trading Bitcoin and altcoins sometimes as well too.
Wow, that is so amazing, guys. So make sure to follow the blockchain today for more information, because you have a lot. So two things that I specifically want to talk with you today about is the logarithm and the Bitcoin 16-year-old cycle. So please share your screen and tell us everything about what this is.
So like to explain it first, like on our channel, we have like our edge in trading is kind of like for the longer term, for the macro cycles, we're really looking at cycles based on time. Not too much looking at the price, but based on time, and I will show you also why. And for the shorter term time frame, we are looking for at derivatives exchange data, which can be also a very good indicator for for short-term price predictions. So let me share my screen right here. Bring this a bit down. Yeah. So let's start with this chart. And this is basically the regular 4-year cycle chart. And how the regular 4-year cycle is a little bit divided is we have a bull market of 3 years. So the price will go 3 years to the upside, followed by a 1-year bear market. And that is something we have seen super accurately already for the past 12 years roughly. So we had like since the launch of Bitcoin, we had a 3-year bull market followed by a 1-year bear market. Then the next bull market was also 3 years followed by a 1-year bear market. Then the previous bull market actually also lasted 3 years if you count from the cycle low right here. And the last bear market lasted for 1 year. And they all, as you can see with these numbers, they very accurately rhyme. Like they really, like we have like 33 months up, and then till the month 46 we go down. 34 months up is the next one, until month 46 we go down. Then 34 months, that's the whole time where Bitcoin is peaking. And the crazy part is that this is something we have seen before with different asset classes as well. So Bitcoin is a new technology, a new communication protocol, but the internet was that too. And the internet also consisted of 4-year cycles. And I can show you that on this chart. Let me zoom in a little bit. So here we can see something similar, where we also have like, here's when the start of the internet companies was, when we launched the internet bull market. Basically, we also had mainly 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down. But the crazy thing is, and this is also the dangerous thing for investors, is that the last 4-year cycle, at least with internet, was flipped. So that means it went 1 year up and 3 years down. So that means, like, if we are going to replicate something like we did with the internet, we are going to see a massive bear market in maybe 1 or 1.5 years time from now. And this is something that I really prepare my community for, because with some metrics, we can actually already beforehand see whether Bitcoin topped, yes or no, and based on timing we can see. And if that pattern is unfolding on Bitcoin, it's very important for everyone to take profits around the top, because if we enter a multi-year long bear market, it will be really catastrophic for most people, because the 2022 bear market, I had most of my funds still in crypto. It went down for 80%. It was very difficult to earn money in that year. So if you would have something like this with a magnitude of 2 or 3, most people who are in crypto will go bankrupt, right? So it's very important that if we do see something like that playing out, that people can protect themselves against that, right? It's not a certainty, of course. Like, this is not a 100% certainty that this will play out. Like, nothing is certain in the markets, but it is definitely an interesting thesis, because this is not the only cycle that is predicting this, because we are also tracking some different cycles. For example, the 18.6 year cycles, sunspot cycles, they also point towards a similar outcome for Bitcoin and the regular financial markets. And yesterday I made a video as well on the channel where I'm looking at the interest rates from the Federal Reserve. This is always a very good indicator on when recessions occur in the regular financial markets, and then maybe also in Bitcoin. And what we are seeing right now is that the red line right here below are the interest rates, and the interest rates are right now at the same levels where we were right before we had the housing market crisis, the fall of the Lehman Brothers in 2008. But as you can see right here, the interest rate levels, they went up, but we still had 1 year of a uptrend in the regular financial markets before we had that massive correction or massive recession. And I think something similar is possible for Bitcoin and for the regular financial markets right now as well, where we have a rise in the interest rates. Then we are following maybe that path of that 16-year cycle. So we will continue an uptrend for 1 more year, and the interest rates will go sideways, and then we will top out within 1 year or 1.5 years, and then eventually we will enter a massive bear market and recession. And we are also created a tool for that over on willporter.com. You can basically go to data, you click on Bitcoin cycles, and here you have like these progress bars, and you can see exactly where Bitcoin is trading based on the 16-year cycle. So we are getting closer to that red area, which is dangerous. But of course, the progress of a 16-year cycle will take slower than this progress, because this one is 4 years. And this is, for example, the progress of the regular 4-year cycle. Because if Bitcoin would form a regular 4-year cycle, that is actually extremely bullish, I have to say. Then we would replicate something like we did in the past. So we have like here, this is a 3-year window. We just entered that bull market. That means that we would top in maybe at the end of 2025. And you can see that the top of this rising channel is at levels above $300,000, up to $400,000. I think if we do follow a normal 4-year cycle, that is definitely possible that we are going to see these crazy levels for Bitcoin like in the coming years ahead. But I'm afraid with that 16-year cycle and with the interest rates coming up that we are not going to see that specific scenario playing out. I think, in my opinion, from my view on the markets, I think it is more likely that Bitcoin does get that last push up, which will turn everyone bullish before the halving. And then people will talk about the super cycle and stuff like that, which eventually marks the top, and Bitcoin can enter that multi-year long bear market, similar as we have seen with the internet. With the internet bubble right here, this long of a bear market. So that is a little bit a different perspective. It's not that bearish. Like, I'm still like short term very bullish on Bitcoin, but I think we have to be very careful because the momentum right here is slowing down, and fundamentally I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. But yeah, I'm also aware of these cycles, and I know that sooner or later we will see a longer form of a bear market than we have seen in the past of these 1 year bear markets, because that's basically, in my opinion, how these markets work. With the law of rhythm, they go from one extreme to another extreme in the shorter term time frame, but also in the 4-year time frame, but also in bigger time frames. So if you can recognize like where in the cycle are we on a macro and micro scale, it can give you a lot of confidence. It can give you a lot of clarity on what's likely to happen, right? Because one thing is really interesting with this top in Bitcoin in month 34 of the previous bull market. Most people were actually bullish and expecting Bitcoin to surpass this all-time high and go to 100,000 US dollars. Like I also was thinking that at that moment, because it's very difficult to be bearish if everyone around you is bullish and euphoric and prices go up. It's really difficult to be a contrarian at that moment, right? So I've been like, I've went all in on Bitcoin in 2019. Like I sold my car and everything that I had, all my money, I put into Bitcoin right at this moment. And we did it again right here because we have the conviction, we believe fundamentally in Bitcoin. It's really easy to say like, okay, I'm going to sell everything. I'm going to put it in Bitcoin. But it's very difficult to take profits because you have such a belief. And at this specific moment in time, the dollar feels so weak. It just feels like, yeah, I don't want to own any dollars. Bitcoin is the best store of value. But if you would know like that in month 34, the chances of topping out would be very high based on this 4-year cycle, you can convince yourself into selling. Like, okay, we are seeing euphoria around me. We are like at extreme high levels trying to surpass the all-time highs. We are at 70,000 US dollars. We are in month 34, which is getting closer to a top. And then you can add some other metrics in the mix, which could confirm your thesis, where the Bitcoin sees a top. So maybe when we lose a important support level and stuff. And with these rules in play, especially with that macro perspective, you can maintain focus while being in the markets. And I think that's very important because that's what's really going wrong with most investors, because they right now would already say like, okay, yeah, when Bitcoin would be trading there, I would take profits. But then when Bitcoin is trading there, it's very difficult to really shoot that bullet, log into your exchange, send your Bitcoin from your ledger, sell it for US dollar tether. If you feel like an idiot, and on that, the first weeks, you're also the idiot because the price maybe goes a little bit up, everyone is bullish, right? But yeah, in the longer term time frame over the course of the next months, when the price then will correct, you made the right decision.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people now wonder, where do you think the market will come down to now on the lower time frames before we see that big next momentum that we have for the new all-time high?
Okay, let me bring out the lower time frame. So this is the daily time frame, and here we can see that Bitcoin basically moved sideways within this range, and we broke down. And this was also very interesting because if you would use, if we just look at the structure, it is actually quite clear, right? We had we're coming down, we retest, and then so far we still coming down. I'm not too bullish in the coming days ahead, although I still think Bitcoin is in an uptrend. So the coming weeks ahead, I'm still bullish. But if we have a look at the derivatives exchange data, and this is the dashboard willportal.com, and here we actually we combine data from all different exchanges like Bybit, Binance, VMAX, and we calculate averages from those data. So we're tracking, for example, the funding rates, the premium index, the take buy sell ratio, the open interest. And what we can see right here is that the funding rates, they went up. So generally, that's not the most bullish sign. And if we have a look at the premium index right here, we can also see that this one is going up, which basically means that the price of Bitcoin on the futures market is higher than on the spot market, which generally also is not the most bullish sign. So for a lot of people, that when Bitcoin had a green and engulfing, bullish engulfing candle right here, I think a lot of people turned bullish right here. And I would say technically this is a very bullish candle, but if you would have looked at derivatives exchange data like the premium index, you could see right here already, okay, the premium index is positive, which means that this is a unnatural bounce. Basically, it's not the most bullish, there's not much fuel behind it, and you can see that afterwards we are rolling over again. So we still see these levels coming up a little bit. So I want to see that actually coming down, that the spot price is higher than the futures price. And I would also love to see the funding rates coming down a little bit more before we can set that low in the next coming days and weeks. But I do think that we will continue to trade in this rising channel, and I think we will set a low in the coming days and weeks ahead, somewhere in this green box. And once we've set that low, I think we can continue this uptrend, and we can break that very big resistance right here at 31,000, roughly at 31,500, which has been acting as support in the previous bull market. So that is also that's going to be a huge level. If we can break above that, I think Bitcoin can definitely make a jump of a couple of thousand bucks in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, but some more bearish momentum before that is happening though.
Yeah, I don't think we will leave this channel to the downside. I don't think we will like do something like this, that we really break down. I don't think that. I think it's more likely for Bitcoin to come down maybe to 28,000 US dollars and then set that higher low, confuse most people in the markets, like maybe confuse most people that we do break down, and then we shoot back up. Something like that I would expect for Bitcoin to happen.
Yeah, it does make sense. Another thing that I really want to talk about is the law of rhythm. So please explain that to me in my community.
Yeah, so the law of rhythm is basically one of the Hermetic principles, and it's basically telling that everything that happens rhythmically, and also the markets, right? We have, for example, I think it's best explained in terms of seasons. Like you have like in Holland, we have like the summer, we have the winter, we have the spring, right? And if you were to be a farmer, for example, you have a season where you're planting seeds, you have a season where the seeds are growing, and you have a season where you need to harvest. And I think this is exactly the same in the financial markets. There are seasons going on everywhere. So there's a season for accumulation, that is basically planting the seeds. Then there is a season for expansion, right? That is when it's growing, when the markets are going up, when the seeds are growing into crops, for example. And then there is a season to take profits, to harvest what you've planted before. And if you look at these markets from a more holistic way, in the sense of like they are rhythmic, there are certain seasons, it is easier to place yourself in a profitable perspective, because you can put yourself in such a perspective that you can see like, okay, this time I have a lot of patience because I'm planting my seeds, I'm accumulating. Now we're in the phase of expansion, we are seeing everything going up, but I'm still waiting patiently. Now we just entered the season of harvesting. So even though things are looking very bullish, I'm going to take profits right here for the longer term time frame, because the season of contraction is coming also. So this is how I basically look at the markets. And if you look at this chart, and this is actually kind of crazy, this is my cycle chart. And what you can see right here is like all these bars are like basically a cycle. So for example, from the all-time high in 2017 till the time that we broke that level again was 1,080 days. If we, for example, look at the bear market from the top, from let's say like for example this one, we have from the bear market low in 2019 till the top in like actually the first stop in that bull market, the mini bull one right here at 14,000 US dollars, that was, for example, 180 days. And all of these cycles, they keep on coming back. So it's not like it's just a random number that we are seeing. No, it's like all these cycles, they keep on coming back. So for example, like here we have 1,080 from previous all-time high to the next all-time high. here we have from the bear market low till the bull market top was also 1080 days. The 60-day cycle is a very famous cycle as well. That one you can see on this chart. So here we have, for example, a low in Bitcoin price. 60 days later, we have another low. 60 days later, we have another low. Then another 60 days, we have another low. Another 60 days later, we have another low. These are all like time frames of 60 days. And some is like 61, 62, 58, 59. But roughly, it will be around that 60-day mark. And this can really help you because let's say if we are trading right here and Bitcoin is going up, you can tell yourself like, okay, but based on that 60-day cycle, we haven't really set that low yet. So I will just patiently wait. And then Bitcoin could like turn around right here, set that 60-day cycle low. And then after we have set that low, you can still reassess the markets. Okay, I think we've set a low, and then we can continue an uptrend. So this is a little bit how I look at the markets. And I think a lot of analysts, they forget to analyze time. So most people, they analyze the price, but time might be even more important than the price, because if you recognize the season, you know where we're in, it's way easier to predict the direction of Bitcoin, and then makes it also easier to make short-term trades.
Wow, this is really good. I love that you are on my channel. Wow, this is amazing. It's such good information. I love this. So guys, you have to make sure to go in and follow the blockchain today, because we are going to save ourselves a lot of money with this new knowledge that me and my community does have. So wow, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you think would be super important for me and my community to know about before you go?
Yeah, the last thing that I still want to share is actually the following. And let me bring out this one. Yeah, the funding rates might be one of the most important indicators for short-term price predictions, and how we actually could know that in the previous bull market that we flipped into a bear market is because of the following. Here we see that the Bitcoin price stopped and then went into that bear market of 1 year. But we went into that bear market when the funding rates were negative. And that is the first signal, because in a healthy bull market with negative funding, the price has to go up. But if the healthy bull market is not there anymore and the funding rates is negative, but the price still goes down, that is the first signal that we've entered a bear market. So next up with the cycles, once Bitcoin coming into that euphoric state again, this is one of the metrics that we are using to determine when Bitcoin entered that next bear market and when we have to take profits on our backs. So that was the last thing I wanted to share, because I think this is very important. And you can find these funding rates. You can find them over on willportal.com. You have like all of these metrics right here. I think the premium index and the funding rates are most important, but you can also analyze them directly with the price. And these are the most accurate funding rates that are out there, if you ask me.
Yeah, that is amazing. Guys, I will link the link to Whales Portal also in the description down below my video, so make sure to check that out, and also the link to your YouTube channel. And you know, I'm very happy that you were on my channel. So super thank you, JEROEN, for joining me and my community. And yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I don't have more to say. You just said it all.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Natalie. It was awesome. I really love to talk about this, and I'm very happy that I could share this with your community too.
Yeah, so we see each other hopefully in the near future, and I wish you, and yeah, I wish you a very good day.